If this is the way that you're fueling your body, I'm going to tell you why you have such a hard time keeping weight off your body. I'm going to tell you why you experience the energy surges up and down. Hey, fellow interwebers! I'm just jumping on here because I want to tell you that not everything that you read or get from the government is right. So, look, I'm not going to get into politics, conspiracy theories, or anything like that, but what I am going to talk about is the food pyramid. The one that if you're my age, you were presented with as a kid. So this food pyramid has been around since about 1990, 92. They changed it out in 2005 for an updated pyramid, which is basically the same thing right here. So they talk about your grains, veggies, fruits, milk, meats, and beans. This is something that our government was telling us this is how we need to eat. And the new one is pretty darn close. The only difference is that they don't have fats and sweets labeled on there. So the idea that they used to tell us that fats and sweets were in the same category, used sparingly, fats and sweets, is total garbage. Total garbage. And I want to tell you why. I want to tell you why, if you're eating this way, if this is the way that you're fueling your body, I'm going to tell you why you have such a hard time keeping weight off your body. I'm going to tell you why you experience the energy surges up and down. Let's jump into this. Okay, guys, I love this stuff. This is my life. I have been eating in the pattern that I'm going to be telling you about here for the last 4 years. It changed my life, guys. It completely changed my life. So I want to share that with you. The idea that fats are bad for us, total frickin' malarkey. Garbage. Garbage. Throw that out of your head if you can. Get rid of it. And I'm going to show you why. So you've probably heard about this. There's two primary fuel sources that a human body can utilize. We have carbohydrates and we have fats. So when we eat any types of carbohydrates, anything that gets turned into carbohydrates here. So grains get turned into carbohydrates. Fruit, carbohydrates. Veggies, mostly carbohydrates, touch of fats, depending on the type of veggie that you eat. Milk, mostly carbohydrates, depending on the type of milk that you get, maybe a little bit of fat. And then you have meats. Protein gets turned into carbohydrates for the most part. And then you have a little bit of fat depending on the kind of meat that you eat. Okay, so all of these things mostly feed carbohydrates. And they're saying right here that the majority of what a person should eat are grains, carbohydrates. If we eat carbohydrates, they get turned into glucose. And glucose does one of three things. It's either burned right away, it's either stored as glycogen inside of our organs, and we can only store a little bit, or it is turned into triglycerides, which is another fancy way of saying fat. The standard American diet is telling us to eat a massive amount of carbohydrates that get turned into glucose that are either burned immediately, stored, or turned into fat. Now here's the crazy thing. How long do you think we can fuel our body on glucose stores that our body holds? This is crazy. We can only store not even a full day of glucose. Fats, on the other hand, we can store enough to fuel our body for like 30 days. Even you skinny guys and you skinny girls out there, you have enough fat on your body or inside of your body to fuel it for 30 days with no food. Yet we don't have enough glucose to fuel our body for a day. So what's going on here? So our brains can run either on glucose or something called ketones. Ketones are something that our body turns fat stores or triglycerides into. So ketones and glucose can both be burned inside the brain. So our bodies can store 24 hours of this, 30 to 60 days of this. Which do you think is the natural fuel source that our body is supposed to be utilizing? Is it carbs, 24 hours and we're out? Or is it fats, 30 to 60 days? I'm hoping that you're with me here and you're saying, man, it makes sense. Like, fat obviously is the preferred fuel source by the human frame. Here's the problem though, is that when we're constantly fueling our body with grains or carbohydrates, our fat burning hardware inside of our body never gets turned on, because we're eating the standard American diet that's feeding us tons of sugar and grains and all kinds of stuff that gets turned into glucose. So we're constantly shoving glucose inside of our body, and that leads to the slow and insidious weight gain. Our goal is to teach our body how to turn fat into ketones easily, and to keep our brains fueled for nice, steady energy. See, when you're eating carbohydrates primarily for fuel and you're burning glucose, what happens is you eat and you experience the surge of energy because you have all this glucose running inside of your bloodstream, and all of a sudden the glucose runs out because it's all been burned, stored, or turned into fat. So now you don't have any more glucose inside of your body. Oh, and your brain starts freaking out, because our brain is the largest consumer of energy stores inside of our body. Our brain utilizes about 25% of the glucose requirements that our body uses. And our brain only weighs a little teeny bit. I mean, that's how much power this thing has. So we eat, we fuel, glucose, and the brain's like, yes, yes, yes. And all of a sudden it's like, hey, there's no more fuel. And it starts freaking out. And we start dropping down, we lose energy. This is when we start getting hangry. This is when we start getting the jitters. This is when we start feeling ravenously hungry. So we refeed, we eat, and we go on that upward trend again, and then we run out of glucose because it all gets burned, stored, or turned into fat. And now our brain is freaking out again. And so this is why when we're eating like this, we experience those rapid ups and downs of energy. It's because our body isn't able to utilize the slow burning, steady fuel source of ketones. Now, I know I've thrown out a lot of terms here, I've thrown out a lot of stuff, but I just want to help you guys understand why burning fat is ideal, why teaching our body how to burn fat is ideal, and why it's not going to happen if you're continuing to eat the standard American diet. And there's one more thing that I want to talk about that really hits home. There's another term for Alzheimer's. They're calling it type 3 diabetes. So Alzheimer's and dementia, these are terrible, terrible problems, and they're growing rapidly. I'm probably going to get this wrong, but I want to say that I remember hearing that Alzheimer's is the third leading cause of death right now. When they take people who have Alzheimer's, they're primarily burning glucose for fuel inside of their bodies. When they take those people and they put them into a state of ketosis, where their body is now able to upregulate and utilize ketones for fuel, so their brain starts burning ketones and it's not getting any glucose, their Alzheimer's and dementia is turning around. What does that tell you about Alzheimer's and dementia? What does that tell you about our cognitive ability? Like, I've been talking this whole time about how do we increase our cognitive ability? How do we increase our energy and our vibrancy inside of our lives? Guys, this is a foundation. This is a foundation. Now look, if you've heard anything about ketosis, I don't know what you've heard. There's a lot of speculation. There's a lot of people out there who have tried it. Maybe some have succeeded. Maybe some have failed. I'm not saying that you have to eat a highly restrictive plan. You don't even have to enter into ketosis to receive the benefits of this. Ketosis is an option when you get there. So my goal in sharing all this stuff with you is I want to show you that by eating in a different pattern, by fueling your body in a different way, you can experience more great days. And once you learn how to do this, once you upregulate the stuff inside of your body to allow you to become a fat-burning beast, you know how to do it for the rest of your life. You don't need me anymore. I'm just here, I'm a stopgap. I'm here to carry you from here to here. And if Alzheimer's and dementia and all these illnesses of the brain are becoming so prevalent today, and we're finding out that by fueling your brain with ketones, it can turn it around, don't you think that this is something worth checking out? Isn't it odd that we've been fueling our bodies this way? Why is the government telling us how to eat this way? What's in it? Like, what's the benefit? Where's the benefit here? Now, I understand that there isn't one diet for everybody. I know that. I know that everybody's going to eat in a different way. I know that everybody's going to eat in a different pattern. What I'm basing all of this on is I'm basing it on science, and I'm basing it on results. And this isn't something that I just made up myself. This is something where I've spent a lot of money and a lot of time learning how to fuel our bodies like this. So if this is something that you guys want to learn, this is just a part. This is just a part of creating a vibrant and healthy, energetic lifestyle, and to create mental clarity, mental vibrancy, increase our cognitive abilities, so that you experience a clarity and a steady energy that maybe you've never experienced inside of your life. It changed my life, guys. It changed my life. I'm leading a small group of people. You've heard me talk about it here. There's this 7-day challenge coming up. For 7 days, I'm going to be teaching 1 hour a night. And if it's something that you want to be a part of, I hope that you drop a line down below, because it's starting in 2 days. So if you're thinking about it, just stop. Just stop thinking about it. Put a line down below. Yes, I am in. I want to learn how to own my journey. I want to learn how to feel optimal. I want to learn how to avoid things like this. I want to learn how to increase my cognitive ability. See you guys soon.